We have an update on a previous story. Recall the University of Houston volleyball players who were caught on Snapchat making crude, racist jokes about lynching. This video was uploaded to Twitter on March 27th of this past year. The caption reads, "This is the hanging tree where we used to hang people." The discussion of this tree brings laughter and joy to those captured on video. This was a huge deal in the Houston community, but especially on campus. The irony of it all was two of the players in the racist video appeared in a Black Lives Matter rally over the summer of 2020, holding up signs and posing for photos. The Daily Cougar would report the players were senior Abby Jackson, grad student Isabel Tuitt, and freshman Riley Whitekettle. In response to this video surfacing, Jackson, along with Whitekettle and Tuitt, deleted their Twitter accounts. The Grio reported that despite the calls for action since the racist incident, which saw members of the team smiling and making fun of the 1935 lynching of two black teens, 2/3 of the players were reinstated. Grad student Abby Jackson and senior Tuitt are in good standing with the program, according to a source quoted in the Houston Chronicle. Freshman volleyball player Riley Whitekettle has since left the squad, wrote the Grio. It is alleged that Whitekettle recorded the conversation, thus she was not seen on camera. The history of what occurred at that tree, as you will learn in just mere moments, is no joking matter. November 12, 1935. The Brooklyn Daily Eagle printed this headline: "Prosecutor defends lynching of two boys as will of the people." 1 month prior, a white woman's body was found in the creek. When local officials concluded she had been murdered, suspicion soon focused on Ernest Collins and Benny Mitchell, two black teens who had been seen picking pecans near the creek. During this era, the deep racial hostility that permeated Southern society burdened black people with a presumption of guilt that often served to focus suspicion on black communities after a crime was discovered, whether evidence supported that suspicion or not. Law enforcement officers arrested them and soon after reported that the young men had confessed. However, black suspects in the South during this time were regularly subject to beatings, torture, and threats of lynching during police interrogations. News reports eagerly reported Ernest and Benny's alleged confessions as truthful justifications for the brutal lynchings that followed, but without fair investigation or trial, their supposed confessions serve as more reliable evidence of fear than guilt. The boys were held in Houston after arrest until they had to return to Columbus for a trial on November 12th. While the sheriff transported them to the courthouse, several cars filled with armed white men stopped them on a bridge crossing and demanded to lynch them. The sheriff then handed them over. Immediately, the white mob brought Ernest and Benny to a live oak tree about a mile from the young white girl's home and prepared to kill them. A crowd of at least 700 people gathered to watch and repeatedly burst into jeering screams as Ernest and Benny, who had been chained together by their necks, were led to the tree. Several members of the mob placed ropes around the boys' necks and hung them until they died. The next day, the white community proudly boasted and praised the lynchings. The county attorney publicly said the lynching was an expression of the will of the people, and a local judge called the lynchings justice. Several newspapers reporting on the lynchings printed an image of two local sheriff officials posing with one of the lynching ropes, and both ropes were exhibited in a local drugstore. Local press was silent about the lynching's impact on the local black community. Though the mob members and spectators were widely known, no one was immediately arrested or charged for their actions. And by the way, here are these two white supremacists posing with the rope via the St. Louis Globe-Democrat. At the time of the video's posting, one University of Houston student athlete who requested anonymity told a local affiliate she was unsurprised by the players' actions. Quote, "The way I am treated here at this university is not the best, and I think it does have something to do with skin tone," she said. "So when I hear about little things like the volleyball video, I'm not surprised, but it's disappointing. Considering she's talking about African American people, I don't think she should be allowed here on campus," said a UH student. Others gave another bold response: "Expel them." UH football player Latrell Bankston would tweet, "The real problem is people are going to overlook the situation with the typical, 'We are sorry, we're not racist.' This is the time to finally make the right decision to take steps into ending this. It's been over 400 years and we're still ignorant to the fact it's still happening. In an email to the Grio, a member of the UH Media Relations team said, "I am not privy to any information, nor would the university be able to provide any information due to federal privacy law. The results of any investigation into student conduct are confidential and shared only with the parties involved."